Much about where policy is. Let's move on to Dr. Al-Hinai from Bayer to talk about the role of companies. So I know Bayer has a really strong vision for circular economy. We saw a little bit of that in your video beforehand. Can you help us to understand how can companies operationalize circular economy, and how do you engage the other stakeholders to get on board with your agenda?
Yeah, I mean, for Bayer, like you said, we are repositioning ourselves to being more of a resource management and circular economy company, not just a waste management company. I mean, if you look globally, from a global perspective, the world consumes 100 billion tons of raw material, non-renewable raw material every year. That's fossil fuels, minerals, iron ore, metal ores, non-metal ores. 50% of that gets stuck in what we call the stocks, buildings, roads, and what have you. Mm-hmm. Almost 40% goes to waste, whether it's solid waste or emissions, and less than 10% gets recycled. While some people would think circular economy is recycling, circular economy actually is much broader than that. It starts from the way you design the material. It's the mindset, how you utilize the product. It's easy to repair, and then once obviously it reaches the end of life, then how can you reuse this material to recycle it and make something else with it. So at BIA, obviously we're working with various stakeholders, and we believe that we have to plant the seed in the young ones. And that's why we've actually been working with various stakeholders, government, NGOs, but also academia and the Ministry of Education. We have actually rolled out a curriculum in collaboration with the Ministry of Education that deals with sustainability and circular economy to kind of like plant that seed for the young ones, grades 1 to 4. Because 10, 15, 20 years from now, they are the ones that are going to be sitting in our place making these tough decisions. So obviously we work with academia, work with the private sector, the public sector. And maybe just to add the three, I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues here if you allow me. Tadweer, CIRC, and BIA, all three of us are actually owned by the respective sovereign wealth funds in each of the countries. So the governments understand that circular economy can diversify the economy. It can play a role. Right now, circular economy is a $500 billion market. It's expected to grow to 4 or 10 trillion by 2030. And I think one of your graphs that you showed is obviously for economic growth and prosperity, we always utilized fossil fuels. So the question then becomes, how can you decouple economic growth from the utilization of fossil fuels?
Actually, I like the way you've reframed a few things there. So not waste company, but a resource management company. And then we have externalities from pollution. Actually, you spoke about the externalities from, we can see waste management as an economic opportunity, particularly where economies are going through transitions, like in this region, and it can be a positive impact back on those other goals.